Hey everybody, Miss Trish here for another story time. Now I've only done 2 story times and I know I should be doing more. The thing is, I got other things to do. But anyways, if you're new to this channel, subscribe to the notification bell when I do put up a new video, which will be more often. I'm sure I'm being encouraged to do this, so I'm very happy about that. But subscribe to my channel to see more of me because I also do my other series as well. But today's story time, you're gonna have to grab, this is my thing. With all my videos, you always need a little bit of a drink, whether it be water, tea, coffee, wine, rum, scotch, whiskey, anything of that nature, just grab it to enjoy this story time. This one is called My Landlord Thought I Was Somewhat Like His Daughter. Now, I didn't want to call my landlord weird because I feel like that's such a sensitive topic and term and word, and I didn't want to use it like that. So he was just like a little bit awkward. If I could say awkward, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but he was on a very awkward stage. Anyways, let me begin. So I just want to also put a disclaimer that most of my story times are from when I lived in Toronto, not Montreal, because there's more story to tell from there than there is here. I mean, I'm living here now. My intent is to move back to Toronto. But for the moment, most of my story times stem from when I lived in Toronto. So let me begin. I was on a journey to finding an apartment because I no longer wanted to live in the situation I was living in at the time. I just wanted my own space. I'm a Pisces, so a lot of us, what we like is our own space and our alone time. If you don't know that about us, well, get used to it. There are some other zodiac signs who are exactly the same, who love their alone time and have no problem with it and need their free space to be creative, to think, to live, and just to be themselves. So I needed my space to just be me, right? Right. So I was on the way looking for things. Apartment prices at that time in Toronto were reasonable. Now I'm just like, ooh, okay, I'm going to have 59 million jobs to move back there. No, I'm playing. But you guys understand what I'm saying. The housing market, the rent is pretty high, but that's okay. It doesn't deter me from my goals or my dreams to get back in the 416. Finally, I ended up finding an apartment in Scarborough. I love me some Scarborough. I lived there most of my time when I was in Toronto. So anyways, so it was a little basement apartment. There was a room. There was no living room. There was a kitchen and a bathroom and some washing machines. The basics, the things that I needed. Like I said, I just wanted to get out of my situation that I was in. So that's where I ended up moving. I met with the landlord. He seemed cool. One of the things that he had first said, though, when we were having a conversation about me renting his basement was, oh, if you want, sometimes you could come up and watch soccer with me. Now I'm like, oh, okay, no, soccer is not my thing. I'm not into soccer. And I didn't take it as like a really weird thing, but I was just like, that's quite inviting. Meanwhile, don't forget, this person also has a wife and 2 children who also live upstairs from me, but was inviting me to watch soccer. And I was like, you know what? No, thank you. I am fine. So I paid my first and last, as I should have. And I told my mommy, hey mom, this is where I'm going to be living because, your mother should always know when you're living, especially when you're in 2 different places. So told my mom, moved my stuff from one place to another and settled in. So here's where the funny business begins. As I'm settling in to put things in its place, mind you, the room is not big. Trust me, it's not big at all, but I do have a few things that I'm going to need to stack against walls and, make myself 100% comfortable. So I'm moving in and I see that the landlord at the time is overseeing me move in and stuff like that. And he's commenting on some of the things that I have. Oh, that might be too big to fit in there. Oh, that might this. And I'm just like, you know what? I know what I have and I measured the room and everything. I'm good. I know where it's going to fit. Oh, if you want, you could put some things upstairs. No, thank you. I'm cool. You know what I mean? Oh, there's storage here. Like, I understand like he was trying to assist, but it just became to the point where it was too pushy. It was too much. I was like, okay, I'm good. I don't need help. I was myself and 2 of my friends. We are good. we were okay. We don't need any assistance or anything of that nature. Thank you, but no thank you. A week in, I don't hear from him. Everything is fine. I'm like, okay, so that was just him being him in the beginning. Perhaps this was just a beginning thing. 2 weeks in now, I'm in my room. Hear a knock at the door. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, okay, I'm not expecting anybody, and the side door is not open, so who may this be? Turns out it's my landlord. Hey, what are you up to? Nothing? Oh, okay, good. Listen, my wife and I were gonna come and cook in your kitchen. So I just wanted to let you know, and you're welcome to come to dinner with us too. No, I'm good, thank you. Okay, so then he proceeds to say, okay, so don't use your kitchen for a while, and going forward, we're not gonna ask, we're just gonna come down and use it. Oh, but sometimes I want to cook too, you know what I mean? So what are you telling me? Okay, well, just let me know when you're going to want to use your kitchen. Excuse me? The kitchen that I pay you rent for? That's attached to my room and little space in your home? What are you talking about? What? So right then I was just like, okay, that's not the agreement. That's not normally how it goes for, amenities in a house that you pay for, you know what I mean? He's like, yes, but it's not yours, it's mine. You're renting from me. So when I want to use my kitchen in my house, I can just come downstairs and use the kitchen in my house. You just have to let me know when you're cooking. All right. No, I don't. So me, I'm just like, listen, I don't want any fights with you. If you're going to use the kitchen, could you just let me know, I guess, because I'm gonna want to cook sometimes. I don't always want takeout. So I find it a little disrespectful that I have to tell you when I'm going to cook in my kitchen that I'm renting from you. What are you telling me? And we kind of went back and forth a bit, but came to the agreement that he would let me know basically when he's coming downstairs and not just come down, because I started to put out that that's an invasion of privacy. What are you doing? Like, I don't quite understand. Now, one thing that I failed to do as a tenant was know my rights. At the time, I was a lot younger. I was a lot younger than what I am now. And those are things that I didn't look into. And I suggest that everybody who's moving, whether it be a house, a condo, a rental, anything of that nature, look into your rights as a tenant. Even if you own the place, look into your rights and the rules and the regulations and things like that, because you can really be messed up. And I was just like, because I didn't know, I was just like, whoa, that's so weird what you're telling me. You're enforcing that you are allowed to use a part of my place that I rent from you because it's yours when you feel like it, and I must tell you when I'm cooking. So that was strike number one. I was like, okay, 2 weeks in, guys, 2 weeks in. I was just settled. I didn't have any boxes anymore. I was done. I was like, okay, this is it. But 2 weeks in, you're telling me that I must basically ask permission. So that was, again, strike number one. I'm like, should I start looking for an apartment right now? Because this is awkward. So I closed my door and I went about my day. Strike number two now. They start cooking. Now, I'm not going to be offensive to anyone. That is never my intent, and please don't take offense to this. However, when they did begin cooking, the food didn't smell very great. Now, I don't like to say bad things about food because everybody's culture and way that they eat is different. So definitely not my intention to disrespect. However, when they were cooking, my clothes started to smell like what they were cooking. I would go to work smelling like that. And I'm just like, this is not acceptable. This is not good. So me being a conversationalist, I conversated with him. Sir, no names, sir, the food doesn't smell very good. Like, my clothes are smelling like this food. Oh, are you talking negative about our nationality? No, I'm not. But my clothes smell like your food. Is there any way you guys can open up the window when you guys are cooking? Put on the fan, do something. I don't know. I don't want to smell like this when I'm going to work. I'm a customer service manager at the moment, at that time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to smell like that. And it's no disrespect to your culture. Oh, well, I find that very disrespectful for you to ask me to open the window when I'm cooking and saying that your clothes are smelling like our food, he said. But it is smelling like your food, and it's not my food. So that's basically strike number two. So I'm just like, okay, I now need to start going on Kijiji again and finding a place to go, because you now are invading my space, plus you're actually gaslighting me and flipping the script and saying that I'm disrespecting you because I'm saying I don't like to smell like something that I don't eat, or any kind of food, period. Even if I eat, a salad or Mediterranean salad dressing, you think I want to go around smelling like that? Does anybody want to smell like that? No, you don't want to smell like any kind of food. And yes, so they have a certain type of way of eating because of who they are, their nationality and stuff like that. But I don't want to smell like that, period. And I shouldn't have to argue that. So I was just like, you know what? Okay, fine. I called my mom at this point and she was like, yep, start looking for another place. I will help you. So mommy was in mode of Kijiji and Craigslist and all those other rental places at the moment in Toronto. And we were just like, yeah, you're getting out of here. This is crazy. But guess what? There's more. This was not a shared accommodation. Nowhere in the ad did it say shared accommodation, because that's one thing I forgot to say in the beginning. It did not say shared accommodation anywhere. There was a fully loaded house upstairs with 2 other floors where they had their own kitchen, bathroom, living room, all of that stuff that I had. So there was no need to really share. But anyways, I wanted to just let you guys know that no need for the sharing of the accommodation, because it was not stated as a shared accommodation when I had first seen the ad. So part 3. At this time, I'm single. I'm single now too, but what I'm saying is, at the time that I moved there, I'm single. I had just actually gotten out of a very long relationship, very, very long. So I was transitioning and trying to find myself and do my thing, right? I was in my, what they call hoe phase, but hoe meaning happiness over everything. So I was single and ready to mingle, and I was mingling at the time. You know what I'm saying? I was seeing some guys, more than one. Fine, we were going out on dates and stuff like that. Sometimes they would come over and just chill. Sometimes they would sleep over. Hey, that's just the way it was. I was single at the time. So because I was like, I guess you could call it dating. Some people would say serial dating, but I wasn't serial dating. I think there was like at least 2, 3, maybe. I don't know. Player. There's probably 3 that I was dating and going out with and hanging out with at the time. And all 3 of them would come over. You know what I'm saying? Think what you want about that. They would come over. Cool. So I guess the landlord noticed that I had guests at times or whatever, or the guests would come and we would leave or whatever the case may be. And for some reason, again, invasion of my privacy, he would come and invade. So let me tell you what happened on one particular day. I am leaving with one of my dates, and the landlord is in his driveway. So we're leaving, about to go, whatever. It's a side door. We all go out. I say hi, whatever. He's like, oh, Trish, can I talk to you for a bit? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm kind of leaving right now. Like, what do you need to talk to me for? What's going on? He's like, it's going to take 2 seconds. No problem. So my date at the time is like, okay, I'm just going to stand over there and listen because, I had told everybody about this situation with the whole cooking in the kitchen and stuff like that. Because I was like, it's a little bit weird. So my date's like, okay, I'm just going to wait around. So his ear is like dog ears because that man heard everything. So I go to the landlord. I'm like, okay, yeah, what's going on? Rent's on time. What do you need to speak to me about? He said to me, verbatim, you're having a bad influence on my daughter. What? I'm like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, you have a lot of guys coming over and it's a bad influence on my daughter. Excuse me, sir? What? Okay. Now, nowhere on your ad did it say that I couldn't have guests and stuff like that. Yes, I know that, but you're just having a bad influence on my daughter. Could you tone it down? Tone what down? First of all, if I'm doing anything in my room, you never hear me. That's one thing for sure. I don't know what you're talking about. I have a bad influence on your daughter who's 9 years old. Your daughter is your responsibility, not mine. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to tell her, don't follow that girl downstairs because she's got a lot of dates happening, that's your business. Don't put that on me. I was like, listen, don't put that on me. My life is my life. Your life is your life. I don't have an influence on anybody. I don't even hang out with your daughter. I don't even know your daughter. So how can I be having a bad influence on your daughter? I'm a grown woman. Like, I went off. I was like, sir, what are you talking about? I don't get what you're saying to me right now. So I'm just going to leave and go on my date. And yeah, not bothered with what you said, because I'm just like, what are you, a bad influence on your daughter? Huh? How does that even make sense? So then when I come back now from the date, landlord is standing outside. Check him when I come back. Oh, I've changed the rules. You're not allowed to have any guests in here anymore. Me, that was it. I'm like, okay, not a problem. Won't do that. Go downstairs to my little room. I'm like, all right, so where can I get moving boxes? I call my mom. I tell her what's going on. She's like, yeah, no problem. We're going to just find you another place. How can he tell you not to live your life? He's not your father. Your own father don't even tell you that. So what right does he feel to come and tell you that you can't have guests or you're a bad influence on his daughter? So we're like, okay, we're just going to keep it moving. Find another place. So I'm now starting to really vigorously look for a new place because I don't like anyone to control my life. I am not a person for rules, if you know me very well. But it's like, sir, I don't know what your problem is with me or what you would like with me. And I guess I'm not giving it to you. So you're trying to enforce it on me. But I'm not comfortable in this situation. So now I really start to be like, okay, you know what? Dead set, gone. So as the weeks go by, my mom and I were still looking for an apartment for me, but I also find him downstairs a lot where I am, troping and trotting, and I'm like, what are you doing here? And I guess he felt because it was his property, he was able to do that as much as he wanted. I ignored him. I kept the door closed. I kept the door locked. Sometimes he would knock. Sometimes I wouldn't answer. And he's like, oh, I know you're there and I'm not trying to bother you. I just want to know if you're okay. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm fine. I'm like, could you go? Like, I used to say, could you go? I'm fine, you know? So now I continue to go out with my dates and stuff like that and do what I have to do. He doesn't want any guests in the house. He doesn't get any guests in the house. That's just what happens. So I continue living my life because that's what I was doing. Now on my way to work one morning, again, he stops me. Oh, do you want to ride to work? No, thank you. I'm good. Why do you keep on denying everything that I offer you? What? I'm like, this is not a personal relationship, sir. We are not, and this is a business relationship. I don't know. Again, I said to him that day, I don't know what you want from me, but you have to leave me alone. It's a little bit pressuring. It's almost like you're harassing me all the time. Oh no, I'm not harassing you. Don't bring those terms in here. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go catch my bus and go to work because I don't want to engage in this. I come home now after again. Take off my clothes, go to the shower. As I'm going into the shower with my towel, you guys, this man is coming downstairs. I have to run into the shower, lock the door. Oh, I just want to talk to you. I just want to talk to you. I'm just like, oh my goodness. He's like, come out of the shower. Let's talk. I'm like, no, I'm in a towel. I'm inappropriate. Can you stop invading my privacy like this? It is so much. It's harassing. I'm going to call the police on you. No. That's not what we can do here. We can solve this. I just want you to stay. I know you're leaving. I'm like, he knows I'm leaving. I don't talk loud on the phone to my mom. He knows I'm leaving. How does he know I'm leaving? So I'm thinking, I'm under the impression that this man went into my room when I was gone and went into my laptop and saw that I was looking for things. That is the only way he would have known. I was never loud on the phone with my mom. I was always quiet up in there. And I'm like, okay, this is really bizarre. I'm like, you need to leave downstairs and allow me to have my privacy and allow me to just be go away or I'm going to call the police. I am so serious right now. This is harassment. Tutus, he leaves, he goes upstairs. I took a very quick shower and ran back to my room because I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. That night, I went to sleep by one of my date's house, whatever. And he was like, he was a Toronto man, let's just say, ready to go and fight. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. I just need to stay with you for a bit. So what happened was I didn't go to work the next day. We timed when he would leave to go to work. His wife stayed home all day with the kids and stuff like that. She saw me coming back. She must have alerted him that I came back because I was kind of going to go and get some stuff and just stay by that person's house for as long as I needed to move because it had become too much, So I guess she called him and told him I was back. He calls my phone. I'm not answering. We're just trying to get some essentials for me and get the F out of there because it was bad. So anywho, I finally end up going to this person's house who was so sweet to me, by the way. Thank you, sir. You know who you are. Let's talk. No, I'm Anyways, so I finally going to this person's house. I stay there for a bit. At the first night that I'm there, my landlord is calling me down like he's an ex-boyfriend of mine who misses me. And he's sending me message, you need to answer my phone calls now. You need to answer me now. And I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. And I'm showing the person that I'm staying with, yo, look at this. Look at the way that my landlord is reacting to me leaving and going to another person's place. Check him, the landlord. I know you're with another man. I know you're with another guy, but you need to come back to your apartment. I was like, okay, this is awkward. So I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm taking all my stuff over the weekend and I'm leaving because I believe this was a Thursday at the time because remember I told you I didn't go to work. I'm going to take all my stuff. I'm out of here. You have got to be nuts, sir. So anywho, my friend at the time, he's like, call the police when you go. Take a police escort with you because honestly, this is crazy. He's like super stalking you and it's nuts. You need to get out of this situation. So it's like, okay, police. I don't like to involve the police for a lot of stuff, but at this point, I really had to. So we didn't really get a police officer like that. It was more security because police, at the time, they were like, oh yeah, we don't escort people for things like that. So luckily I was connected to this fellow that I was staying with. He's like, well, I know some security guards, so I can make them like, just come and we can all come and we'll get your stuff out. So that Saturday, this is probably like a month in about, that Saturday, we moved all my stuff into a storage. Yep, everything, and got the hay out of there. When I was leaving though, the corruption, the corruption of me leaving, he was acting like I was, again, his daughter or his girlfriend. Why are you leaving? You don't need security. I don't know why you're acting like this. All I did was I was good to you. Whoa, bruv, you were good to me. Okay, you brought boys in here all the time and you influenced my family in a bad way, all kinds of stuff. And he called me a whore. And then he called me a bitch. He called me all kinds of stuff. And I was like, that's okay. All these guys are just moving out my stuff easy. There wasn't a lot of things like I told you guys. The room was stacked, all was well. And finally, we just got the hay out of there. I did never, ever, ever answer him when he was calling me all those names, even though the security was there. He's like, I'm not scared of any security. You don't know who I am. Yep, okay, I'm just going to take the side of this bed and bring it up the stairs and get on out. Because I was just like, this is too much for me. Like, I'm not involved. I don't like this shit. This is shit to me. This is shit and really weird shit. And that's the shit I don't want to be involved in. So once I left, again, packed up everything. He was overseeing everything. The security guards were standing there, my friends' friends or whatever, big burly guys, that could take him down if anything. Like they had to kind of push him back sometimes from coming towards me because it's like, he's like, oh, let's just talk and let's just be friends. And, you can stay here. You don't have to leave. Like he was trying to manipulate the situation in every way that he could. And I'm just like, bruh, it's not even that serious. Like I pay you rent. I live downstairs. There's no relationship here. If I choose to come upstairs and have a relationship with you, that's my choice, but don't enforce it on me. And don't think that, I have any influence on your family. We don't got the same last name or blood. And hey, we don't even look alike. What do you want from me so bad? It was just very strange. Fast forward, I end up moving out. He still calls, text. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Again, go to the police, file a harassment suit. There's nothing that they can do because somebody calling you all the time is not harassment. So I was told. I was just like, okay. I changed my phone number. I ended up moving into another place where the landlord was super cool and he didn't live there, which was also very helpful because I'm like, I don't really want the landlord to live there. The first question I asked was, do you live here? No. Okay, perfect. Could I bring people over here? Check him. He was Australian. Dope landlord. He said to me, you bring whoever you want. It's your place. Boom, boom, cha-ching. You know what I mean? So I ended up moving into another place that was awesome to me, more spacious. My tenants upstairs, the neighbors, upstairs were amazing. And upstairs from them, they also amazing. I liked basement apartments only because I know I could dance around and have my get-togethers and my parties. See my camera shaking. Hey. Have my parties and stuff like that and make less noise. So I did like basement apartments at the time. So that's that's that. But I ended up living there for about a good, what was it, 6 years? A good 6 years before I moved right back here to Montreal. So yes, that is my crazy landlord story. The other day he sent a spam email because my email address is still the same. It's still the same from before. But he sent a spam email. I was like, snap! I forgot to block his email. But yeah, like I was just like, what is this? And this is what inspired this story time. The fact that I seen his name again in my emails, I was like, oh boy, sir. You are one crazy pants and your wife glorifies your craziness. It's very strange. It's very strange. So folks, what I say about this is definitely find out your landlord tenant rights. Ask a lot of questions because that's something I also did not do. I just went in there, thinking I will be okay because he did make me feel like everything would be okay in the beginning, except for the soccer thing that I didn't take as a red flag and perhaps I should have. But find out your rights, ask questions, ask questions, ask questions, again, ask questions. That was the story time, folks. That is it. I was so blessed and so lucky to have some good, strong men that were not afraid of anything at the time around me, and to be in that situation, to actually also get some security guards and all that stuff. I am one blessed woman. And also too, I think if I was to get myself in a situation like that now, I would still have some honestly awesome, strong men to turn to, and I'm blessed for that. I've always had great people around me, so I am blessed for that. Anyways, folks, I am Miss Trish. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content from me. It is Miss Trish TV. You should also follow me on Instagram at All Things Miss Trish, and check out my blog during the week. Sometimes I blog about some serious stuff that you can awesomely read, and I'll do some voiceovers for you. My blog is Miss Trish Minute Blog. That's also on my website, www.allthingsmisstrish.com. I do so many things, so everything is hubbed into one spot, and that's why I want you to follow me so that we can keep up with each other, okay? But thank you so much for your love and support. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you guys again very, very soon.